Thanks for tuning back in. I'm Tommy Campbell, still bald, still in my basement, and still hoping that one day we can live in a world where St. Patrick's Day gets as much attention as Christmas. The green lights go up after Valentine's, U2's playing in every grocery store, a month of Guinness, stew, and soda bread. I'm just saying, we do this with every other holiday, why not this one? Matt Gaetz has spent a lot of time attaching himself to the Capitol rioters and January 6 prisoners. But when the most famous one, Jacob Chansley, tried to get some time with him, he Josh Hawley'd it. And joining in with the week of embarrassments, despite already being found liable, Rudy Giuliani continues to make defamatory statements, and while his leaking head is attempting to process his nearly $148 million loss, he's hit with another lawsuit. I'll be getting into Gaetz versus the Shaman, Matt's recent award, a special guest returns with reaction to Rudy's case and the loss. By popular demand, there's a new genuine page from my special edition of Lauren Boebert's book, and more, but first, this.
They try instead of just like they're not just for looks, they actually work. What a concept, right? I've never seen you know how you get you ever notice that even when you're in restaurants now, you get a napkin and it's like plastic or something. Yep. It's like it doesn't even absorb. You could pour water on it, just beads off of.
Yep.
Well, who does that? Wait, why is it called a napkin then if it's just going to be a big piece of like plastic? It's disgusting. Same way with their towels, that's why with these dish towels now, they work, everybody, plus they're awesome.
I don't know what Dexter restaurant you're going to with plastic napkins, Mike. Maybe this is a memory from your time in prison, or maybe you confused the lobster bib at Mar-a-Lardo with a napkin, or was it a steak sandwich? It is pouring MAGA Tears. I missed you last weekend, and it's great to be back. Thanks for supporting this one-man show. Laugh along with the good people in the comments while I mock the latest and stupid and more.
They threw me off the ballot in Colorado. Well, I just sent Lauren Boebert a case of lotion for Christmas so she can start totally working her magic and get this reversed.
This is really cool.
Now, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but it is fantastic. This is teen prowler McForehead getting an actual award for being a dirtbag.
Matt Gaetz, we have an award for you. My name is Michael. I'm with the Strongsville GOP. The 2023 Strongsville GOP Award. Thank you so much. Congratulations for your dedication to using Venmo to allegedly paying underage girls to have sex with. You're so full of it. Thank you all so much.
Oh, come on, man. That was my buddy that I partied with for years. I had no idea these girls were young and getting paid to sleep with us. Matt Gaetz grew up in the house where The Truman Show was filmed. He's a third-generation politician who was elected to Congress in 2016 with thanks to his father's wealth and political clout. In 2017, he was the only member of Congress to vote against a law that gave the federal government more power and money to fight human trafficking. Matt's best friend and wingman, Joel Greenberg, was sentenced to 11 years in prison. Never forget that. The Capitol rioter in the horned helmet, a.k.a. Jake Angeli, a.k.a. Jacob Chansley, who many know as the QAnon Shaman. A shaman is a person who acts as an intermediary between the natural and supernatural worlds, using magic to cure illness, foretell the future, control spiritual forces, etc. Yes, he's actually running for Congress as a libertarian, and his tweet is just ridiculous. Weak men create hard times? Yes, Trump invited you to the Capitol and then you participated in an insurrection that led you going to jail. Hard times create strong men. You were in jail. That's not fun. But don't project this image of strength when your mom had to write letters since you were going hungry in prison because you didn't have vegan organic meals. It's jail, not Whole Foods. I am a strong man in hard times. You're a beacon of stupid in the dumbest timeline. Posing with MTG, Lindell, Bannon, and Roseanne, and I guess he wanted to finish the series off with Gaetz, who wanted nothing to do with him. Look at this poser with terrible tattoos, an even worse earring, and that walk. I don't even know what's going on there. That is the strangest saunter. Here, Jake finally catches up with Gaetz. I mean, he could have got even closer. I'm still curious if he was chickening out or what, but this is his confrontation.
Maybe we're going to do a little bit more. But I'm here to tell you it's a myth that we have to It's a myth.
Did you see that? Coward.
It's a myth.
Freaking
We've all been doing the same.
And these are the people that are representing Americans? They can't even speak to an American? He was saying my name all over Spaces. He's been talking about them getting me out with Tucker Carlson's footage. He can't talk to me. Won't even talk to me. These are big names that claim that they're for the little guy getting screwed by the big machine. And he will not talk to me.
Big Machine was also the name of his cellmate. Like Jacob's dream girl, MTG, Gaetz spends a lot of time talking about January 6th and frequently mentions Jacob Chansley. So I guess it's a bit of a surprise to find out that the person that's been your hype man is now ghosting you. Well, if this hasn't bothered Jake enough, wait until he finds out that he's running against Blake Mastards and Abe Hamaday, who Trump endorsed over the jailed vegan playing dress up. The guy who went to jail for Trump endorsed the other person. Good evening, I'm Tucker Carlson, and tonight I want to talk about Rudy Giuliani, the guy we all know and loved as America's mayor, who went on to be Donald Trump's personal attorney and a prominent member of the Jenna Ellis Elite Strike Force team, who was so determined to be on the ball, he wore 2 watches. And now he'll be writing 2 checks, one to Ruby Freeman and one to her daughter, Shae Moss. Oh, we're going to pretend the election was stolen. Let's do parking lot press conferences. Pin it on these election workers and I'll leak my hair dye as a distraction. Ruby, it truly is fascinating to see a case where the names are 1 letter apart. Rudy asked for trial by combat. Instead, he was on trial. He promised to take the stand, swore he would take the stand to prove his election fraud lies, and then he didn't. Why is that? Well, no matter how many times these people tell you there is so much winning, they are always losing. Huh? This happened because the unbuckled Borat sequel star targeted Freeman and Moss, falsely claiming that they'd stolen ballots under the table and then changed them from Trump votes to Biden votes. But why did he try and pin it on these two? I cannot think of any reason in particular why he would pick them to be the face of election fraud. Something doesn't add up. The jury, if you want to call them that, awarded $148 million in damages between Ruby Freeman and Shae Moss. That's 1/5 of what the entertainment channel for Mary Cousins, my former network, lost for pushing lies. Rudy claimed Ruby passed around a USB thumb drive with votes like a vial of crack. And this high-tech vote-flipping story was so bad that it could have been written by Kevin Sorbo for a scene in his latest straight-to-VHS offering. Well, we did talk to someone. We talked to Lumpy MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell, who is very much on Team Rudy. He's even had him on his 3-viewer show, and Lindell confirmed that such vials are usually glass. They are not sold at Best Buy. And then he told us it wasn't a vial or a thumb drive. It was most likely a steak sandwich. And I started to wonder how this man made so much money. Ruby's life was turned upside down as Rudy and Trump's rhetoric enraged the tiny-minded supporters who discovered where she lived, and they weren't sending her flowers and pizza. They were angry, and they went for this because people like me made them doubt reality and question everything. And you should doubt everything. Next time you get a receipt, demand to see the roll it came from and the forest that birthed the paper. Demand to examine the barcode scanner, even if it takes an hour, because you're not being a Karen. You're being a patriot. And the patriots behind you in line will not mind, because we need to question everything and accuse everyone of being against us, especially when we are losing. And we are huge losers.
The absurdity of the number merely underscores the absurdity of the entire proceeding, where I've not been allowed to offer one single piece of evidence in defense, of which I have a lot. So I am quite confident when this case gets before a fair tribunal, it'll be reversed so quickly, it'll make your head spin.
Yes, Rudy is still claiming that he has evidence of their wrongdoing, and if he had any, it would have been presented. He's caught lying, and he's still lying, and as a bald man, I find his lawyer's haircut insulting. Was he in the middle of a Supercuts appointment when he realized he only had enough to pay for 3/4 of his head? What is going on there?
And even if you take all the money, money is the root of all evil. All that I care about is that I can look in the mirror and I can say, I did what my conscience told me to do, that my father would be proud of me. And
We're proud of you, Rudy!
And please, don't interrupt me. My father would be proud of me, and Jesus Christ would be proud of me, because that's who I prayed to before I made these decisions, including on September 11.
If I were Rudy, I would just avoid mirrors altogether. I don't care about money, says the guy with the obnoxious rings. I do love him getting angry about someone interrupting him who is just a soon-to-be unemployed staffer trying to offer the boss some love on the way out. But Rudy's too busy talking about prayer and getting a 9/11 comment in there. This man created a living nightmare for Ruby and Shay, and we're supposed to believe that Jesus gave him the go-ahead? And Rudy is being sued again. The new complaint asks the court to issue injunctive relief permanently barring Giuliani from making defamatory statements against Moss and Freeman. In the complaint, Freeman and Moss allege that Giuliani continues to make defamatory statements about them. There is not a figure attached to this, but they are seeking the legal fees associated with the legal action. These people just want to get on with their lives, and they never will be able to. Even with all that money, their lives will never be what they were. It's sad. These people will be harassed by MAGA lunatics as long as they live. For those new to the show, I'm glad you found me. Thank you. For a year and a half, I've been reading genuine pages from my special copy of Lauren Boebert's book. This really is a ton of fun. I only do this once a week, and it's been pretty wild. Let's get back to it. Jason had always told me that the cans don't hurt, and he even proved it by lobbing one at my head outside Empower Field at Mile High. Go Broncos! It kind of stung, but I figured I was just being a big old wimp. I never admit to pain, whether it's knee splinters at Jason's No Questions Woodshack off the 36, or when I forget to blow out the flaming B-52 when I'm getting my Coyote Ugly on at Applebee's with my Wednesday afternoon girl gang. I guess that's because I am the daughter of a wrestler. And I don't mean the kind that go to the Olympics in the weird outfits. I mean one in the World Wrestling Foundation. Or is it Federation? Actually, I'm not even sure it's World, because in Japan they have wrestlers in diapers, and my father wrestled in a stunning red and black outfit. Maybe the WWF is just wild wrestling fantastic. I'll need to ask my mom. She is an encyclopedia when it comes to this stuff. That's why the fellas called her their ring rat. Rats are smart, and you do wrestling in a ring. Having a wrestler dad programmed my body to be a fighter, and even though he contested our relationship with a DNA science thing, I think this is his way of testing me. Are you a fighter, Lauren? Because I proved you're not my daughter. Now you have to prove that my proof is wrong. This is like when God tests Jason with a new crop of sores. Well, that downtown street lady was far from pleased about being woken from her slumber by a piece of cold tin bouncing off her matted hair. In seconds, she was using the kind of words I only hear when I party with Jason and his prison buds, or when the kids are playing with their Xbox station. I didn't want to stoop to her level with such colorful language, so I told her straight up, one day, you'll get money for that. But she didn't care what I had to say. So I made it clear, that can could get you a dime. That's 10 cents. I'm going to make it happen. Yes, it was in this moment with a street woman punching the tailgate of our family truck that I realized I should get into politics and make real change. Like 10 cents a can, so that when we throw them at people, it's not just for points. It's for a better life. It was like a fairy tale. If you've enjoyed this genuine page from Low Rent Boozburb's book, let me know in the comments and I'll see about reading another page sometime soon. Is the basement you are in your mom's? Trump 2024. I'm going to order a whole pack of cards. I will hand them out after the Donald is POTUS in 2024. MAGA Tears. You must have made this video before they actually had the debate. Was DeSantis that bad? Or aren't you very biased? MAGA Tears. Tommy, go get your shine box. MAGA Tears. Well, we did talk to someone. We talked to Lumpy Pillow CEO Mike Lindell, who is very much on Team Rudy. He's even had him on his 3-viewer show. I'd never admit to pain, whether it's knee splinters at Jason's No Questions off the 36. I never admit to pain, whether it's knee splinters. Yes, it was in this moment with a street woman punching the tailgate. And this high-tech vote-flipping story was so bad that it could have been written by Kevin Sorbo for a scene in his latest straight-to-VHS offering. Big Machine was also the name of his cellmate. Getting screwed by the Big Machine. Why did this even happen? This happened because the unbuckled Borat sequel star... She is an encyclopedia when it comes to this stuff. That's why the fellas called her their ring rat.